everyone, it's Keren here from tuppencecolored.co.uk. Thank you for joining me. Today I'm going to be making a card which is based on this sketch. Now, if you don't know about using card sketches or layout sketches, they are a really great idea because pretty much all the thinking has been thought for you. You get a layout idea and you take that and you make something that is based on that sketch. Now, I belong to a group of Stampin' Up demonstrators who all have the same upline, and every other Saturday we challenge one another to make something based on a sketch which one of us provides. This has been provided by the lovely Kat, so I'm going to show you what I'm going to make for the blog challenge. I'm just going to be making a card front today, so I've cut myself a piece of Whisper White which is 5.5 inches by 4 inches. Now, if I wanted to make the full card, I would have cut my card 8 inches by 5.5 inches because this would be a 10-fold card. But I'm only going to make the front today, so that's the piece of card I need. I've cut myself a piece of Blackberry Bliss, which is the same size, and as you can see, I have gone ahead and I've cut myself an aperture out of it. And I also have a piece of Soft Sky, which is 5.25 inches by 3 3/4. And the way I layered this up was that I cut the aperture out of my Soft Sky first, and then I took my piece of Blackberry Bliss and I lay that on top, and I fitted the die in between, stuck it down with some post-it notes and ran it through my Big Shot so that I've got a nice even frame all the way around. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go and stick that to the backing. Whoops, bumped my tripod there. Let's put that straight. Sorry about that. So I've got my my snail here, which is just fine. It's just fine for this. I don't need anything particularly heavy duty. I'm going to use my grid paper to help me line everything up. And now this has got a top and a bottom, and the bottom is very slightly, it's slightly, that bit is slightly longer than that bit. See what I mean? It's because it's a perspective thing. It makes, when you've got a a landscape oriented card, it just helps the visual balance somehow. So I'm just taking a little bit of time and I'm sticking that down and making sure that that fits where I want it to. And yeah, that's close enough. So that's the first part of my card done. Now, this is a piece of Whisper White card which I've sponged up with inks in various colours to give myself a Northern Lights Aurora Borealis kind of effect. If you want to find out how I did this, then if you stay tuned at the very end of this video, I will put a little video clip that shows how I got this effect. But for now, I'm going to be doing some stamping on it. So I've got my Whisper White craft stamping pad, and I've got my block with a stamp attached to it, and the stamp comes from Holly Jolly Greetings. It's this one here, which is like snowflakes and stars, and it's very pretty. And that has actually been retained in our spring summer catalogue. It's been carried forward from the autumn winter catalogue, so I'm really glad about it because I really do like this stamp set, and I've hardly played with it at all. So I'm going to be concentrating pretty much in the middle of the card because most of it is going to be covered. So I think that'll do. I think that'll do me nicely. So I'm going to close up my ink pad before I put my thumb in it, because that is something which I am prone to do. I am a messy crafter. Right, so bring back in my Whisper White backing card, and I'm going to attach the piece that I just stamped onto the front of it. So I've got my snail again. And oh, I smudged that a bit. The craft ink really needs to be either heat set or left for a while to dry, which I didn't do, so I've smudged that a bit, but that's okay because that's kind of the effect that I wanted. And I've still got some ink on this, so I'll come back in and I'll just put a few crisper ones in there. So now it looks like it's a jolly good old snowstorm. which is kind of the effect that I was wanting. So let's come back with my topper, and you can see that's starting to look quite nice. Right, now I want to work on what's in the foreground of the aperture here. So I've die cut a piece of Dazzling Diamonds glimmer paper. That's lush, look at that. Oh, that is so gorgeous. Using our Sleigh Ride Edge Lit dies, and these are going to be retired at the end of this catalogue, so I'm making the most of them while I've still got them. And I've cut myself a piece that's about, oh, how big is that? It's about 3 inches, about 3 inches long, and I've centered the horse in the middle. You can't really see it very well. Let me bring that back in, and you can see the effect a bit better. Right, now to position this in the aperture, I'm going to work on the reverse of the aperture, and because I'm using a glimmer paper, I'm going to use a wet glue, because really I don't even trust I don't know even if I even trust fast fuse. So I'm being quite generous with it just around the edge and around the bottom here. I'm spreading it out a little bit. Actually, I think I'll turn it over and I'll spread it out with a spreader on the other end. The end of the tombow that people forget is there. Right, now, whoops, there's a basics jewel on the back of that. Right, so I'm going to bring this up now, and I'm going to center my horse and buggy where I want them in the aperture. Press down on that and let that have a couple of seconds to dry. And now I will bring in the fast fuse, because I'm going card to card, and I'm just going to start the fast fuse off. I'm putting the base of my card up on the table, and I'm going to bring that in alongside it, and then I'm sorry you can't see this very well, but what I'm basically doing is I'm using the edge of my table, or in this case my grid paper, to make sure that I've got everything lined up. And we're almost done. So let's have a basics jewel up in the sky here for our North Star. And if I go back to my sketch, as you can see, oops, it's upside down. As you can see, I've got my circular aperture, but there needs to be something running across the middle of it. I haven't got that yet. But what I have done is I've die cut the word Merry from the companion die set that goes with the Holly Jolly Greetings, and you can get it in a bundle, and in that case you save 15% on the price. And I've also, from the same stamp set, I've stamped the words "and bright." Let me show you, which is here. And I've stamped it onto vellum, and I've cut it out with our word window slot punch. I don't know whether you can pick it up here, but I clear embossed the word "and bright." Put my finger on it, maybe you can see it a bit better. And the reason why I did that is because inks don't dry terribly well on vellum. They will be there for like forever, and they will not dry. So if you're going to be stamping onto vellum, unless it's something like a StazOn, then you do need to emboss or leave it a very, very long time to dry. Now ahead of time I've put a little bit of Tombow just on the Y, on the back of the Y there, just so that when I do this, I press it down, it will catch. Okay, just catching that there and there. And actually, I'm going to move that. I'm going to move that that star. I'm going to move it up a bit because it's colliding with my Merry. Okay, so more Tombow, and I'm just putting little spots of it. I could probably do with using the fine nib glue pen, but it's over on the other side of the room. I see that's too much. I don't want that much, so I'm just going to spread that out a bit and put some more along here, just in key spots along the way. That's too much there, so I'll wipe it off on my hand. Up a bit. That will do. Okay. That needs a bit of time to dry. Luckily Tombow dries clear. But that is pretty much it. And here's my finished project. And if I bring this back in, this is the original sketch that I was trying to interpret. So what do you think? How did I do? Did I do okay? If you want to see what my fellow bloggers have been up to, then if you visit my blog, and the link is underneath this video, there will be links to go to the next blog in the series and the one before, so you just jump in the middle and you just follow it all the way around until you've seen all of us. And I promise you that there will be lots and lots of really good ideas and really great inspiration for you. But that's it for now, except for if you want to see how I did the Northern Lights Aurora Borealis background, then stay tuned after I say goodbye, because I will put a little clip of how I make my background. But that's it for now. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye. I want to create a Aurora Borealis background for my card, so I've got my piece of Whisper White card, and I'm going to start sponging over it with, and I'm going to start first of all with some Daffodil Delight. I'm working on a craft sheet. I'm going to go pretty much all over with Daffodil Delight because it will help blend in the colours later on. Not going to go too far down to the bottom of the card because that I hope is going to be covered. So okay, so that's finished with the Daffodil Delight, and I'm going to come in with my next brightest colour, which is a tempting turquoise. The cat is on the prowl, so she may decide to make an appearance at any time. I'm pulling straight down. Oops, bent my card, and I want to leave some of the yellow there. Bending up my card as I'm doing it. Okay, so I quite like that. Okay, so now I've got Night of Navy. And I'm going to keep that more to the edge of the card. Finally, just a little bit, a very little bit of the Elegant Eggplant. Right in the corner with the Elegant Eggplant because that's how I want it to look. And that is looking quite Aurora Boreal, you see. And I'm going to come back in with Daffodil Delight and go right over the top of it, try and blend it all together. Okay, so I'm actually liking that quite a bit, so I'm going to let that sit on one side to dry, and we'll come back to it.